take a look at problem number 17. It says solve the system of equations using substitution. So let's go over our steps for that. Solving a nonlinear system of equations using substitution. Nonlinear, if you notice, it has an x squared and y squared. Now step 1. Solve the equation with the smaller powers for one of the variables. Step 2, plug this into the other equation and solve. Step 3, plug these values into either equation and solve for the other variable. So let's use those steps. So we have x squared plus y squared equals 17, and x plus 3y is equal to 7. First step, solve the equation with the smaller powers for one of the variables. Well, one of the smaller powers is our x plus 3y equals 7. And this one looks like it's pretty easy to solve for x. So I'm going to take the 3y and move it over to the right side. So we got x is equal to negative 3y plus 7. Well, now plug this into the other equation and solve. Well, our other equation is x squared plus y squared equals 17. And we just said x is equal to negative 3y plus 7. So we're going to replace the x here with negative 3y plus 7. Everything else remains as is. And then it says then solve. Well, all we have left now is y's. So negative 3y plus 7 to the second power is negative 3y plus 7 times negative 3y plus 7 plus y squared equals 17. Negative 3y times negative 3y gives us a positive 9y squared. Negative 3y times 7 gives us negative 21y. 7 times negative 3y is negative 21y. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus y squared, and I'll bring the 17 over, so it becomes a negative 17. Well, combine together like terms. We got 9y squared plus 1y squared gives us 10y squared. We got negative 21y and negative 21y. That gives us a negative 42y. And we got 49 minus 17, which gives us 32, equal to 0. Now we're still solving this. It's a quadratic, so we're going to factor out the GCF first. And looks like they all at least have a 2 in common. So that gives us 5y squared minus 21y plus 16 equal to 0. And this is GCF, by the way. This here is key number. We got y squared, y, no y, and there's a number before our y squared. So the key number, we're going to take the number at the beginning times the number at the end. So 5 times 16, that gives us 80, I believe. And we're going to come up with 3 columns. The P column, where we'll list all products, give us 80. There's 1 times 80, 2 times 40, 4 times 20, 5 times 16, 6, no, 7, no, 8 times 10. In the sum column, we add those numbers together. 1 plus 80 is 81, 2 plus 40 is 42, 4 plus 20 is 24, 5 plus 16 is 21, 8 plus 10 is 18. In the difference column, we subtract them. Subtract smaller from larger. 80 minus 1 is 79, 40 minus 2 is 38, 20 minus 4 is 16, 16 minus 5 is 11. 10 minus 8 is 2. Now the number we're looking for is a number in our middle term, which is 21, which is right here. So we're going to use 5 and 16. And we rewrite our middle term using those two numbers. Now our larger number, which is a 16, is always going to be the same size as our middle term, which was negative. So I got negative 16y. If the number you circled is in the S column, then it's S for same signs. If it's in the difference column, it's D for different signs. So S, number got circled is in the S column, so same signs, both positive, both negative. Since the 16 is negative, then the 5 will be negative. And again, we're using the two numbers here in the P column. Well, 2 carries down here, and I'm going to factor by grouping. First group has a y in common, and that gives us 5y minus 16. Second group has nothing in common, but my first term is negative. So we're always going to factor out a negative if your first term is negative. And that gives us 5y minus 16. Well, now they both have a 5y minus 16, so that carries down. And you can cross these out to see what goes in your second set of parentheses, which is the y minus 1. Now, zero factor property. You get 0 on one side and you factor the other side. You can set each factor equal to 0. But it won't do us any good to set 2 equal to 0 because there's no variable there. So we're going to set 5y minus 16 equal to 0 and y minus 1 equal to 0. Now here we take negative 16 over, it becomes a positive 16. Here we take negative 1 over, it becomes a positive 1. Divide both sides by 5 here, and we get y is equal to 16/5, and y is equal to 1. Step 3. Plug these values into either equation and solve for the other variable. Okay. I think the heat's starting to take me. Plug these values into the equation from step 1 and solve for the other variable. Middle of summer, the silly air conditioner goes out. Okay. Now we always plug it into the equation from step 1 because that's already solved for the other variable. So it's x equals negative 3y plus 7. You'll find if you plug it into the other one, you'll get the wrong answer sometimes. So you should always plug it in one of the smallest powers. So I got negative 3 times 16/5 plus 7, which gives us negative 48/5 plus, and I'll rewrite this one as 35 over 5. Getting a common denominator. 35 divided by 5 gives us 7. Negative 48 plus 35 gives us negative 13/5. So this answer is negative 13/5 and 16/5. Now here, I'll plug in my 1. So I got negative 3 times 1 plus 7, which is negative 3 plus 7, which is 4. So this answer will be 4, 1. And let's see which one is our answer. Looks like A. So 17A would be your answer. Yep. I actually didn't used to have air conditioning in my house, so I'm having flashbacks to 15 years ago. Anyway, we're done with that problem. I'll quit whining.